Welcome to Physician Heal Thyself, the podcast, empowering you to take a whole person approach to your well-being, spirit, soul, and body. Join me, your host, Dr. Lara, naturopathic doctor, entrepreneur, and a servant of Jesus Christ. We are not just a body, we are spirit and soul. It's time to integrate medicine and spirituality into our healing. Let's get started. Welcome to Physician Heal Thyself, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lara. Today, we're going to talk about what is the lymphatic system. This system is so important. Most people have heard of the immune system, which we talked in the previous episode, but today we're going to talk about what is the lymphatic system. This, I want you to think of this as it's your body's waste disposal, and it's the way your immune system transports in this network. So it is made up of a network of vessels, of lymph nodes and organs like your spleen and the thymus gland. It moves clear fluid called lymph. So this lymph is a clear fluid that's moving through the lymphatic system, and it contains white blood cells, cellular waste, toxins, and even some bacteria and viruses can circulate in the lymphatic system. So it works very closely with our immune system to fight infection and disease. And so it's going to remove excess fluid from tissues, and it returns it to our bloodstream to prevent swelling. So this lymphatic system is literally our waste disposal system. And it's everywhere, from our head, through our neck, our chest, our whole core, our midsection, our legs, to our feet. It is a pumping system that's there. And so if our lymphatic system becomes sluggish, these are some of the things that you may experience. You can experience frequent colds. You can see swelling in your limbs, like your legs, your arms. You can have fatigue. You can have brain fog. You can have a puffy face, puffy or skin issues. Oftentimes you'll see the puffiness under the eyes, under the eyelids. That could be a lymphatic, blockage there. There's lymph nodes that are everywhere in our body, and you can feel them in our necks or under our chins, our necks. And, there's a lot of them there. And if you feel that they're swollen, that's a sign that your lymphatic system is that you're either trying to fight something, whether it's infectious, whether it's toxins. I have seen swollen lymph nodes in people who have high levels of mercury, lead, so heavy metals, right? And so this is a sign that we need to get the lymphatic system moving. So unlike your heart, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So it's going to rely on us to move. So it's movement, breathing, and muscle contraction that keeps things flowing. This is why it's important that we move, that we exercise, because when the muscles contract in our legs, it is flushing, it is pushing on the lymphatic system to make that system circulate. When we jump, it is actually helping our lymphatic system to create a drainage. So movement, breathing, muscle contraction is going to keep things flowing in our lymphatic system, which is why we need to keep our bodies moving to improve our immune system. So some of the signs that your lymphatic system might be sluggish, before we talk about that solution, I want to talk about those signs. As here's some of the few subtle ways that your body may be telling you that your lymph isn't moving optimal. If you feel tired all the time, now fatigue is the number one sign for many conditions, but it could be the lymphatic system. If you get sick often, it's not just your immune system, it could be the lymphatic system as well. It might be over congested with toxins, right? It might be overburdened and it needs to get flushed out. If you have puffiness under your eyes or your face, it is the lymphatic system. So sometimes we're trying to treat the puffiness under the eyes with aesthetic things and treatments, when what you really need is a lymphatic drainage. We can notice that swollen lymph nodes are, those are signs that not just that you're sick, but that the lymphatic system is backed up. And swollen lymph nodes, you can check them even in your armpits. We have them there. If they're swollen there or in your neck, that's a sign that your lymphatic system is sluggish. If you oftentimes have skin breakouts or dry patches, it is a lymphatic system sluggish issue. So these are some signs, some ways that you can tell if your lymphatic system needs a little bit of love. So how do we naturally improve our lymphatic flow? So there's some things that are natural, that are science, backed ways that we can improve our lymphatic circulation. But there's no necessarily supplement that's going to touch this or some expensive treatment. I'm not kidding you. If you were to go walk, if you were to jump rope, if you were to jump on a little trampoline, if you were to go for a run, if you were to exercise, that in itself is going to help the lymphatic system move. Some people have vibration plates. I do like that. I have noticed that it can, especially for someone who maybe has some physical limitations, vibration plates you can stand on, sit on, and the plate, there's a vibration and it's making the lymphatic system move. That has been shown to help people with their immune system as well. So you want to, I can't stop saying, but you're going to have to move your body. This is like the one thing that's going to help your lymphatic system is to, get walking, do some bouncing, or like I said, do some of the vibration plate work that'll help. And the legs there's a lot of lymphatics that run through our calf muscles, that when those muscles contract, they are helping pump back up from the legs. It helps pump back up the lymphatics to be drained properly. So walking, stretching, any mini trampoline jumping, 10 to 15 minutes is all you need daily to help the lymphatic system to move. The second thing that's going to help with lymphatic system flow is going to be hydration. Look, we are made of 80-90% of water. As we get older, we lose a lot of that water content, but we are mostly water. And so hydration is going to help with circulation. When we are dehydrated, it thickens the lymph. And if it thickens the lymph, it's going to make it harder, right, to move through the lymphatic system. So this is the way that the body is cleansing itself. So you want to drink, I can't tell you how much based on your medical condition, but you want to drink enough water a day along with the activity that you're doing. Now, sometimes you could do like warm lemon water in the morning. That can stir up and move the lymph as well. Deep breathing. So diaphragmatic breathing acts like a pump in the lymphatic system. So there's a lot of lymphatic points in our diaphragm, meaning from our shoulders down to the end of our rib cage. There's a lot there that's being pumped in and drained. And so if we do big breathe in through the nose, deeply, slowly expanding our chest, and then breathing, exhaling outward through our mouth, and keep doing that. That diaphragmatic breathing is going to act as a pump to the lymphatic system. And so it's going to help with drainage. So usually I tell people inhale deeply through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 4 seconds, exhale out through the mouth for 6, and repeat for a few minutes daily doing this. You could do this in your car. You could do this anywhere. It's free. It costs you nothing. All of these things are free. Moving your body, staying hydrated, depending on the kind of water you're drinking, it's free. But deep breathing, it's all going to help. There's something called dry brushing. This is a natural bristle brush that you can gently sweep on the skin towards your heart. You could do it before or after a shower. It stimulates lymphatics, the lymph to move. And so it's going to help boost circulation, right? And so that's another way. I can put a handout or some details on what dry brushing looks like. I'll include a picture of the lymphatic system in the body as well, so that you can see all the lymph nodes, the whole system where it's at, and the way that it circulates. You see a lot of people doing like the cold plunges. saunas. Like those are forms that can help you also with helping the lymphatic system. But something you could do simple, it's cheap, it's easy, in your own shower. You can do contrast showers of cold and warm. And so you alternate, you start with hot, just on your chest, your neck, make sure you get it front and back. And then you turn it down to cold and you circulate between hot and cold in the shower. What happens is that the heat and the hot and the cold, it helps to vasodilate and constrict these lymph vessels that are going to stimulate flow. So you could just do 1 minute hot, 30 seconds cold, and repeat about 3 to 5 times. Some people can feel really energized after that, and that's because the lymphatics are being flushed and so forth. Now, diet, there's some things that we could do that are friendly to the lymphatic system. Your green, leafy vegetables, because they have chlorophyll in there, and that's going to boost detoxification. Citrus foods can stimulate drainage. Beets, garlic, ginger, they're natural lymph cleansers. Your omega-3s reduce inflammation, so you want to make sure you're adding these things to your diet. Things you want to avoid: the processed foods, excess salt, sugar, because sugar can slow down circulation and increase inflammation. And we talked about in the previous episode about toxins. Toxins overburden this lymphatic system, so you want to be careful of not overburdening the lymphatic system. Massage is a great way to do some lymphatic drainage, right? So most massage therapists are trained to do it, but some are more specialized in doing it, so that you are getting that lymphatic system moving. So the massage can really help. So just a quick recap of this. The lymphatic system is there to help you with detoxifying and immune system, right? It's the superhighway of removing toxins out of your body. You need movement. You need hydration. You need breath. You can go buy, let me tell you, you can go buy an expensive kit that is going to help with lymphatic drainage. And that's great. But you can also do this for free at home, which is to move, hydrate, and breathe, and remove those toxins out of your diet, right? It's a no-brainer. Everyone should be able to do this daily. Now, what I find oftentimes is that when there is a high toxic burden, the lymphatic system becomes very bogged down. When I palpate people's necks and I start to feel nodules, it's the lymph nodes that are swollen. It could be several things. In children, typically when I see swollen lymph nodes, I always ask the parents, how much cheese or dairy is he or she having? And they're like, oh, they love cheese and they drink tons of milk. And I'm like, yeah, well, they're going to have to cut back on that, because dairy is very inflammatory. And so oftentimes you can see it on their lymphatic system. It's so congested. And so there's a lot of mucus and there's allergies. And so if you have allergies and asthma and that sort of thing, you want to remove those foods that are highly inflammatory. It's going to help your lymphatic system. It's going to help with drainage. The other part of individuals that I've seen with swollen lymph nodes is we check their teeth. Have they had dental work that has any metals in there? Root canals, because sometimes the body's way to that it responds to protect itself, it starts to show up in the lymphatic system. And so I will usually see swollen lymph nodes on the side where they have the root canal, or the side that they have the mercury fillings. And so I know that it is typically on that same side, and once they take care of, resolve the tooth issue, then the lymph nodes will go away. Now, if I just treat the lymphatic system, it'll help to gently detoxify and so forth. But the root cause of the problem is the tooth. It needs to be dealt with, because that can continue to be an issue ongoing that can lead to other health issues. So toxins have a huge impact on our lymphatic system. And, in women who start to, who may have breast breast cancer, oftentimes the lymphatic system is the problem. And you can take a look at the armpit. There's lymph nodes in there on the upper right quadrant of the breast. There's a lot of lymph nodes that come from the armpit. So what are we putting on our armpit, ladies? Are we still using, aluminum deodorants? Are we using deodorants that have aluminum? Because that is a metal, and we're putting it in our armpit in an area that doesn't get a lot of movement. And it is going to get absorbed into our lymphatic system, into the bloodstream, and it makes it into the tissue of the breast. So we need to be very careful with what we're using on our skin. I know that some of these natural deodorants are not the best at keeping dryness and the smell and all of that. Look, I'm going to share my tip. Wash your armpits with baking soda every time. That's going to neutralize the bacteria in that area. And so you use your deodorant and it'll be more effective. So, and also, what are you eating? Because if you're eating a crappy diet, you're going to stink. You're going to stink more because your body has more waste. So if you clean up your diet and you start eating healthier vegetables, vegetables and fruits, it's going to change the way your body smells, because our skin is also a detox organ. So it's pushing toxins out. So the bacteria on our skin, when sweat comes out, that's what makes it smell. Take some dry baking soda, put it in a little container, keep it in your shower, open it up, and wash each armpit with baking soda. Men, you can do the same thing too. And it will neutralize the skin, the bacteria in the skin, and it'll feel fresher too. So that's one way that our lymphatics in our armpits are never massaged, guys. So when I get patients in my clinic and some of the manual therapies that I do, I get in the pec muscles in the armpit. And if you're my patient and you've had this, you know that sometimes it is tender and it hurts, especially when muscles are tight in there, because nobody really gets in the armpit to move things there. But these lymph nodes are everywhere in our body. And so you can touch your neck. Go and palpate your neck. You can palpate. Do you feel anything that's a small little ball that's ropey? I always tell the little kids that come in my class. I tell the little kids that come in my clinic, let me touch your neck, and I'll feel their neck, and I say, oh, look, you got a little pearl necklace around your neck, because their lymph nodes are super swollen because they're having tons of dairy. So these are some of the things that, to take into account how important our lymphatic system is. So if you want to improve and strengthen your immune system, you cannot forget about the lymphatic system. It is part of that, and it helps us with staying healthy. So if you have any questions or need support on this, you're always welcome to reach my office, and we can discuss ways on how we can help you. But these are some natural things that anybody can do at home for free that can help your lymphatic system. And so the one thing you can really do to benefit from most is stop putting the toxins in your body and then help it to flush them out. Hey, until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you on the next episode, and be blessed. Thank you for listening to Physician Heal Thyself, the podcast. If you like what you've heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Help this message reach more people who may need to hear it. Leave your comments. I want to know what you think. If you're interested in learning more about Raíces, visit our website at raicesndmedcenter.com. Until next time, be blessed.